Resilient, purpose-driven mindset. Resilient, purpose-driven mindset. That with all the stuff that's going on, with all of the confusion from the scientific community, from the leadership, from the presidency on down, it has collateral effect. And there are so many people that's confused. You wear the mask so you don't have to wear the mask. Or if you have the coronavirus, you need to wear the mask so you don't give it to somebody else. And if you have it, you should stay in the house. They got all kinds of things. If you make love, you should have the mask on. That is not romantic to me. You know, I say, wait a minute, y'all coming all up in the bedroom. Okay, baby, put your mask on. Well, how am I gonna kiss you with my mask on? Oh, behave, whatever. But all kind of confused, you know, all this stuff going on. And you could die from talking to somebody with a mask that's held under their nose. You know why my hair is like it and I'm looking like Kid and play like Kid from House Party? Because my barber, he likes to wear his mask like this. I said, man, put your mask on, all right? I told him. So he does this. Man, hey, hello. Habla español, English? What? Come on. Have I told? Put your mask on, cover your mouth. I know your breath kicking like Bruce Lee, but cover the nose too. It's, I mean, about to make me lose my mind over here. So I decided I'm not going through that. I'm not going through that. I'm not coming out the house till 2027. And I work on myself. I got some new squirrel friends. I'm bilingual. I speak squirrely. And I listen to motivational messages first thing in the morning. You want to listen to my voice. Go on YouTube. Find Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. Find Les Brown. It's possible. And I tell the story about the bamboo tree. Find Les Brown getting unstuck. And I talk about Chicken Man. Listen to things. Listen to me. Listen to things that can build your mental resiliency. You want to have a resilient, purpose-driven mindset that will focus your mind on the goals that you want to achieve, on the things that you need to do to reinvent yourself, to rethink your life, to see whether or not you're on the path to becoming the next greatest version of yourself. And in order to get through this time, I mean, sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I said, this is still not a dream. This is crazy. People say, I'd like to come by and see you. Is that right? Okay, I'm on the first floor. We can talk through the window. Come on. I mean, just think about this. Every day when I see people with masks on looking outside my window, seeing the squirrels jumping from one tree to the other, they never lose their footing. That's why I learned squirrely. Tyrone, he's leading everybody. He's introducing everybody to me. He's the most motivated squirrel in my neighborhood. Les Brown is about to do his StreamYard or another Zoom. My kids say I've been in the house too long. I'm suffering from cabin fever. Whatever. So read 30 to 40 pages of something positive every day. Drill yourself. You say, well, I've listened to it. No. Listen to it until you're manifesting results. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. So in order to develop that resilient, purpose-driven mindset, you want to listen to the messages over and over, take notes on things that jumps out for you, and become the embodiment of it, and develop that kind of mindset and how you carry yourself and how you face this thing called life. Faith not tested can't be trusted. So you got to have faith in yourself. But we're being tested right now. If you've never been tested, listen to me. No test, no testimony. Faith not tested can't be trusted. It's easy to have faith when things are going great. When the kids are acting like they have good sense. When you have a job, you have money, you have your health. Whoa, no big deal there. But when life knocks on the door, when you go through some stuff, when you get a bad diagnosis, that's when you have to pull on your faith. That's when you have to be resilient. I've got a saying, and all of you know it. Life knocks you down, try and land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Now, here's the other thing that's very important. As you look at yourself, you want to master at least three things, multiple streams of income. Three things: I speak, I train speakers, and I'm an author. And I got other things I'm expanding, and I'm 75. Well, why are you still doing it? Because you're never too old to learn, and you're never too young to teach. I believe that the reason that we look at people over a certain age, at Alzheimer's and dementia becomes active, is because they are inactive. My mother used to say it: if you don't use it, you lose it. It takes longer to wear out than to rust out. So the goal is to be actively engaged in life, raising the bar on yourself. Turn down the amount of time that you spend entertaining yourself, watching the television, as my daughter, Dr. Ona Brown, would say, and do things that will stimulate your thinking. It will keep you young. Just because you're 75, chronologically don't mean that you have to look 75. No. And so I decided, just because I'm 75, you're not going to count me out. I'm still here. I'm going to be engaged in this thing called life, because I have not done my best work yet. You have not done your best work yet. Every day is the best day of your life, as Orrin Hudson would say out of Atlanta, the chess master. Why? Because if you don't believe that, try missing a day. Every day is the best day of your life. Look for ways in which you can begin to master something, learn something today that you did not know yesterday. Expand your horizon, expand your vision of what's possible for you. Continuously be a student. My high school theme was, you never find out how much you know until you find out how little you know. Study. The people that are going to make it today are looking at the various trends. They're going from mindset mastery, learning three things that they can master to create non-performance income, and they're studying continuously, learning things that they can get at the end of their fingertips on the internet. There's no excuse today for not being in the mindset of achieving something beyond that which you have already done. Life is an adventure. Helen Keller said life is either a daring adventure or it's boring. And this is an exciting time that you can earn money at the comfort of your home. Think about that. Virtually around the world. I just finished talking to some people in Germany. And then I talked to some people in Toronto, Canada. I'm making money around the world and I'm still home, virtually. Take advantage of this. This is something you want to learn: mindset mastery and skill set mastery of the internet. Now here's something else. You have to, as you look at yourself, look at your goals, look at your dreams. Not only is a resilient, purpose-driven mindset important.
I want to ask you, how many of you have some major goals you want to achieve? Raise your hands, please. Very good. I want to ask you another question. How many of you know if you had your life to live over again, you can do more than what you've done thus far? Raise your hands. Very good. I want you to shake somebody's hand on your right and left. Look him in the eyes and say, you have something special. Do that quickly, please. I say that not to be kind to you, not to be courteous. I said that because it's true. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You have talents, abilities, and skills that you don't even know that you have. And in the limited time that I have to share with you, I'm going to share some ideas and concepts with you that I want you to take some notes. Now, I want to make this clear. Number one, everything that I'm going to say, you already know it. It's a part of who you are. We're cut from the same cloth. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have invested your money, your time, and your energy to be in this place, to be a part of this Manpower Conference, if what we talk about with you at this particular time did not represent a part of who you are, your consciousness and your value system and your philosophy of life. So I'm going to only confirm and validate that which is a part of you anyhow. That's number one. Everything I'm going to say, you already know this. It's common sense, but not common practice. Second thing is, everything I'm going to say, you've heard it before. Bishop Jakes is not only a great preacher and visionary and lecturer, but he's a great motivator, a great strategist. He provides concepts to help people to deal with the whole person, spiritually, mentally, economically, our communities, every area of our lives. Last night when I saw the ministry that was going on in the prisons, thought about the scripture that says, the least that you do unto these, my children, you do it also unto me. That kind of vision, that kind of commitment, that kind of stand that is taken with his life in a historical context. One day when historians look back on this age, they will see the imprint and the impact that he's made. The next thing is not only that you already know what I'm going to share with you, and you've heard it before from Bishop Jakes and many other great speakers. Everything I'm going to say, I don't want you to agree with me, and I don't want you to believe me. That's not important. I'm going to share with you some ideas and concepts that's made a difference in my life. I want you to think about something that you want to create in your life experience right now. Some goal that you want. Some spiritual goal that you'd like to achieve. Some contribution you'd like to leave to humanity. Horace Mann said, we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. I want you to think about some major goal that you'd like to achieve. Think about it right now. Something that's important to you. My first major goal was to buy my mother a home. That's something I wanted to do. That was important to me. I'm one of 7 children my mother adopted. I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City. I was born in an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother. When we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted. When I was in the 5th grade, I was identified as EMR, labeled educable mentally retarded. Put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade. I failed again when I was in the 8th grade. I don't have any college training, but between my mother and a high school teacher that I met by the name of Leroy Washington made a dramatic difference in my life and gave me a larger vision of myself. And so therefore, my first major goal was to take care of my mama. I really identified with Deion Sanders last night. I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. And so that's what I wanted to do. Buy my mother a home. Let her sit home and I go to work and take care of her. That was important to me. And I achieved that goal. My mother passed 3 years ago from breast cancer. My goal now is to raise millions of dollars for breast cancer research. My goal now is to alert men over 40 to get their prostate examination. Last year, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and given a very limited prognosis. One of the things I strongly believe, when we gave you a handout indicating that, doctors should never tell a person that they are terminally ill. What they should say, my knowledge and my ability has terminated. Now you need to go someplace else and get some help. They should determine the diagnosis. God determines the prognosis. So every man here If you're 40 years old, go get your prostate examination. Go get your PSA test, which is a blood test. Go get your digital rectal examination. I assure you, it is not a pleasant experience. It's not something you look forward to doing. But go do what you got to do anyhow. I was at a major medical convention and they were giving free rectal exams. The guy said, "Hey, Les, come on, man, let me give you an examination." I said, "No, you're too motivated, brother. No way." No, you can't come up in here. No. How do you get motivated to do that? You know what I'm talking about? No. 58% of men don't go get the test till they're showing the symptoms. It is the #1 killer of men. It's serious. And so, therefore, I'm telling you, part of my mission is to alert you. I came up during a time, we believe what you don't know can't hurt you. What you don't know can kill you. Go get your examination and encourage your brothers and your uncles and your friends to do the same thing so we can reduce the number of men that will die from prostate cancer over the next year, over 40,000. We can reduce that number by early detection. Now, the other goal I have is training and developing speakers. I don't travel like I used to since I've been given this health opportunity. Remember something that T.D. Jakes said? He said, if you got a problem that man could solve, you ain't got no problem. I mean, truer words could not have been spoken. When I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, I'm telling you, I started talking to Jesus more than I ever talked before. I increased my tithes by 30%. I was trying to cut a deal. I said, "Lord, if you save me, let me tell you, you think Paul worked for you, just save me." In fact, I'm trying to get him to move it someplace else, put it in my toe, anywhere, not here, Lord. Oh my goodness. I tell you, boy, it's amazing how spiritual you can get if you think you're gonna die. Yes, sir. I'm telling you the truth. I used to pray so hard I got shaved. I went through so much in 1997. It was unbelievable. Went through that and then also filed for divorce from someone that I loved very much. I thought we were the perfect couple and I thought we would be together for the rest of our lives. And so I learned a thing or two about life and the challenges of life. One of the things I strongly believe that in life, you either in a problem or just left one or headed toward one. So part of what I'm doing is training and developing speakers. I have a gift in that area, helping a person find their message and how to use their life example to craft an experience, a special moment for an audience to transform their lives and teach them methods and techniques how to reinvent themselves. Training and duplicating myself through men and women and young people because I believe that we live in the greatest country on the planet that gives us an opportunity to make a difference in other people's lives. Now, I don't know what your goal is, but I want you to visualize it right now and repeat after me with power and conviction. Let us say together, "It's possible." Together, please. It's possible. Say it again, please. It's possible. See, that's the first step. I want you to think about this goal that you want. I want you to envision it and see it in your mind's eye. And every day say to yourself that it's possible. See, most people are not accumulating wealth. Most people are living in poverty. Most people are living far below their potential, not because they don't have the capacity, not because they have not been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. But most people are living like they're living because of the fact that they don't believe they can have any more than what they now have. In the book called Miseducation of the Negro, Dr. Carter G. Woodson said, if you can determine what a man shall think, you'll never have to concern yourself with what he will do. If you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. He'll go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. That's why scripture reminds us, be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So every day you have to sell yourself and get out of your mind those old thoughts, that old belief system. Every day you've got to sell yourself on that it's possible. That you got to put a new mind in you. You got to get out of your mind. You got to begin to restructure your thinking. Every day you've got to begin to recondition your mind. See, many of us go through life making choices, thinking it's our choices, and it's not. What do you mean by that? I'm reminded of the great anthropologist Margaret Mead. She was in a restaurant in Europe, and a waiter saw her and said, "Oh, how are you? I'm so glad to see you." He said, "There are several other Americans here tonight." And she said, "Is that right?" He said, "Yes." She said, "When you serve them dessert, let me know and I'll tell you exactly how many are here." He said, "That's not possible." She said, "Let me know after you serve dessert." When he served dessert, he came back and he told her. She got up, she walked around, and she looked and she observed, and she said, "You have exactly 65 Americans here." He checked the guest list and he was amazed. He said, "How did you know that?" She said, "Because in Europe, when you eat a slice of pie or cake, you eat it from the back toward the tip. In America, when we eat a slice of pie or cake, we eat it from the tip toward the back." How many of you, when you eat a slice of pie or cake, you eat it from the tip toward the back? Raise your hands, please. Good. Now, what else is in your mind? What else are you doing unconsciously that you don't even know? I'm going to say something and I want you to answer it after it. I want you to end it for me. Winston tastes good like what? How many of you don't even smoke Winston but know it? Raise your hands, please. Now, that commercial been off the air for 30 years. 30 years. See, let me share something with you. The easiest thing I've ever done was to earn $1 million. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe it could happen to me. That was the most difficult part, to believe that given my circumstances, if my birth parents came down this aisle right now, I would not know either one if my daddy came up here or my mother came up here. Given the fact that I was born in an abandoned building on a floor, being labeled educable, mentally retarded, not having any college training, I used to feel all my life that people who had college degrees were more intelligent than me. I remember going to see the late Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the author of the book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And I used to look at him up on stage and I said, I could do that. I would love to talk to people. I love to talk to people. And I said, I could do that. But then when I started going back to my car, my mental conditioning activated itself. And it said, Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have a college education. Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have the training. You've never worked for a major corporation. You can't do that. What makes you think you can earn $5, $10, $15, $20,000 in an hour? You don't earn that now working for 2 or 3 months. What makes you think that you can speak for AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, General Electric? These are clients I have now. You've never even worked for them. How many of you ever thought about something you wanted to do and you talk yourself out of it? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. That inner conversation is what's going to haunt you after standing here and saying, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. After saying that again and again, we are more than conquerors. That inner conversation will cause you, when you leave here, to go back leading a life of mediocrity, leading a life of unproductivity, leading a life of poverty. So I'm going to share with you how to break out of that. I want to share with you how to reach your goals. I think the Bible is the greatest motivational book ever been written. Now I want you to repeat after me, please. We got to recondition our minds first. Let us say together, good things are supposed to happen to me. Yeah, write that down. I want you to say that to yourself every day. See, we live in a world where we believe that bad things are supposed to happen to us. I remember at a point in my life, Bishop, when things are going good for me, and I said, this is too good to be true. Something is bound to happen. Guess what? It did. Thou shalt decree a thing that shall be established unto you and shall accomplish that whereunto it has been sent. Watch your words. Watch what you say about yourself. about your affairs. Be conscious of that on a daily basis. Why? Because your words are powerful. In the beginning was the Word. Life and death is in the tongue. Watch what you say. Never say I'm broke. Say I'm overcoming a cash flow problem. Claim what you want, not what you don't want. So affirm good things are supposed to happen to me, and begin to believe that. Begin to expect that. Now, I was talking to my oldest son, Calvin. We were going for a walk. And I said, Calvin, do you want to be successful? He said, yes, sir, Dad. It's okay. We kept on walking. Then I stopped and I looked him in the eyes. It's my namesake, my junior. I said, Calvin, we're looking at each other eye to eye now. Do you expect to be successful? Given the fact that you are a single parent of 2 kids, given the fact that you decided not to go to college to further your education, given the fact that you are very talented, but you're behind on your dreams and your bills, do you expect, based upon your performance, based upon what you produce at this point in time in your life, do you expect to be successful? And Calvin got quiet. Because see, if you ask most people at the Manpower Conference, do you want to be successful? Do you want to live a life of productivity? Do you want to live a life of contribution? Do you want to be a better father? Do you want to have your own business? Are there dreams you want? Everybody will say yes. But see, want shows up in conversation. Expectation shows up in behavior. See, I can tell what you expect by what you do. That's why the Bible says, judge a tree by the fruit it bears, not the fruit that it wants, not the fruit that it talks about, not the fruit that it claims, but by what you are doing. See, what you do when you leave here, when the music stops, when the shouting dies down, your behavior, how you conduct yourself, writing your goals down, deciding to enroll in school to get a GED, deciding to sit into class with children young enough to be your grandchildren, decide to find some product, some idea, some service that you can provide so that you can begin to create some value for yourself so you can create wealth.
We were very much like Richard Wright. He said, the impulse to dream has been beaten out of me through the experiences of life. Most people don't have dreams because life has beaten the living hell out of them. He said the impulse, just thinking about dreaming, has been canceled out because of the experiences that he had gone through. And so, and many of us are like that. And many of us are victims of distractions. There's so many distractions out here and all type of strategies that keep you distracted, algorithms, all kinds of stuff. One of the things I'm doing is I had to put myself on a fast. I said, no. I'm not going to look at this phone. No, I'm not going to look. No, I'm not going to look at this phone. No. Most people look at their telephones. Studies show over 400 times a day. Yeah, some kids. If you had a choice between your parents or your telephone, you had to get rid of one. Which would you want to get rid of? My parents? Oh my God. This telephone, it's an addiction. I have a friend, and Mike Sims, he stopped looking at television for a year, and he became a millionaire. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna just focus on reading and meditating and journaling and exercise and praying and being focused on my dream and working with people that fit in this category, that they are positive, they are purposeful. That means they have a purpose and they're going in the direction that I'm going. They are productive. They're working on their stuff and they're profitable. They're making some stuff happen. This is some time, these blessings that God has granted us, we are to make something happen. We've got to create something that shows that this era is the most profitable, most productive, and purpose-driven era in our history because of how we've been blessed, because what God has bestowed upon us. We got a fresh start. And when you have a fresh start, you want to take advantage of that, doing the right thing, being excited about it. I remember Dr. Otis Moss, who was a classmate of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said, blind celebration and empty sentimentality will not keep the dream alive. What is your dream? I remember Dr. Johnny Coleman out of Chicago, and she asked, what is your dream? It said, when is it a man or woman dies? And the answer was, when their dreams die. Some people never had a dream. They think in terms of getting a job. Well, that's not an option now. This is an entrepreneur's era. You have to create your own job. And you got it like that, whether you recognize that or not. New industries are in you. You were born with greatness in you and dreams in you, the ability in you to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. How do you know these things? Because you've been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. I got something to back me up with that. Is that right? Yes, the word of God. He doesn't lie. You got it like that. Yeah. That's something. Yeah. I've got to decide to get excited about that. Somebody called me, are you watching the playoff? Watching somebody live their dreams? No, I know playoff what? Excuse me? Are you serious? This is our time. This is your time. I want you to take the time and think about that and reflect on your life. And say, speak, Lord, if you don't know what you're supposed to do next. If you don't know how you're going to take advantage of this time. Say, speak, Lord. Thy servant heareth thee, and he will. He will. He will. Just get still. Go for a walk or go for a drive or just unplug the computer, to turn it off and turn your phone off and just get still and create an opening in your thoughts. Don't worry about anything. Just be open. Just ask, speak to me, talk to me. I got a fresh start. Tell me what to do. Lead me. Listen to your heart. Lead me. Where your heart is, there your treasure is also. You are blessed. Thank you, Lord. Lead me. You said you'll never leave me nor forsake me. I need you now. Lead me. Tell me what to do. If I knew what to do, I would not be in this place. Help me interrupt my thinking, hack my brain, and allow me to hear your untarnished and unpolluted guidance. Please, Lord. Please, Lord. Thank you, Father, for this time. We have a fresh start. Your people need to be reminded, including me. I'm in that number. I got up this morning saying, what will I say? I'm speaking to myself. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, and I'm sharing the conversation that you have put in me. We have a fresh start, a new beginning. There are people who have read history. We have a chance to write history. You have positioned us to do that. Oh, yes, you have. Yes. Thank you for this fresh start. Thank you for the courage to answer the call, the courage to be mindful that you're ordering our steps, the courage to call forth those things that be not as though they were, the courage to stand, the courage to have the faith and to know all is well. We give thanks. We give thanks. And so it is.
How did you overcome the cancer? And I know this wasn't your first battle, this was your second, correct? Mm-hmm. How did you overcome that? Who did you have to be? Because I heard you quote a stat, and I hope that you quote it today, about our immune system. And how did you say, no, I'm debt-free, I'm cancer-free, and I'm drama-free? How did you do that?
The oncologist, he was a bad brother who graduated from Howard University. His name was Mr. Golson. Mm-hmm. And so he said, Mr. Brown, I got some bad news. What is it? You have cancer. Oh. I said, whoa. I said, is there anything else? He said, yes. It's metastasized to 7 areas of your body. Oh. I said, wow. He said, why are you smiling? I said, man, 7 is my lucky number. Wow. I'm one of 7 children. I was born February the 17th. Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times. Naaman dipped himself in the river Jordan 7 times. I said, is there anything else? He said, yes. I said, what? He said, and you're ugly too. Come on, man. Did you just
lies?
He said, but you got this. He said, I never tell my patients they're terminally ill. What I say is that my skills, my abilities have terminated. I determine the diagnosis, you and God determine the prognosis. And a verdict, as we look at ourselves, the verdicts of what take place in our lives are not determined by the facts. It's determined by us, our faith, our heart, and our willingness to do what's required in order for us to be here. Being here is not a gift.
Oh, so good. I heard you said something along the lines of our immune system drops. What was that percentage?
When someone looks at you and say that you have a terminal illness, your capacity of your immune system to protect you drops by 40%.
Wow.
In the UK, they don't even allow doctors to say that you are terminally ill anymore. Because of the area of psychoneuroimmunology, words have power. That's why in the Bible it says, death and life is in the tongue. And we speak too much death as opposed to speaking life. And a diagnosis is not a verdict.
Yes.
Yes, and so there are some people, they leave as a result of hearing those words. And what he said, I determine the diagnosis, you and God determine the prognosis.
Yes.
And that works for me.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend who I talked to yesterday. She was told because she had breast cancer that she was terminally ill. And she said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, you have 6 months. And she said, listen to me. She said, you determine the diagnosis. God determines the timetable. Stay in your lane.
Ooh.
And that was 8 years ago. Come
on, wow. Wow, yes. Wow.
She said, stay in your lane.
Oh, I have goosebumps. Because people so often, the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
Yes.
And he talks about drifters, right?
Yes.
Because so many people are drifting inside of their lives and they're never really certain about most things. They allow the people, the places, the things, the opinions, the judgments, the diagnosis to tell them who and how they're going to be, and then they choose to believe it. But wow, you just, how powerful it is to just know you can say whatever you want, but this is what I'm believing. And sometimes we win that battle and sometimes we don't.
And we have to work consciously. Reading, having a ritual like you have, and I have.
Yes.
Reading something positive every day, 30 or 40 pages. Listening to messages that are designed to empower us. Dr. Carter G. Woodson said, if you can determine what a man shall think, you never have to concern yourself with what he will do.
Oh.
He said, if you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, or he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. He'll go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. I spoke in a prison in Ohio, and these young guys came in sagging their pants. I said, hey, what y'all call that? I'm an old man. They said, sagging. I said, wow. I said, how you spell it? They said, what, sagging? Yeah, Saggin. I said, wow. If you can determine what a man should think, you never have to concern yourself with what he will do. I said, spell it again. And they said, Saggin. I said, now spell it backwards.
Oh.
They got quiet. I said, I'm here to eliminate a virus, HIV, hood-infected virus, AIDS, addiction to incarceration and death syndrome. Don't come for me. I didn't call an Uber.
I'm ready to cry right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, sheesh, that just hit my soul. Mm-hmm. And we subscribe, like, whose story are you subscribing to?
Come on now.
And then when you teach people, okay, you don't have to choose this story.
That's right.
If I want to learn about Les Brown, I'm not going to go learn about how to knit kitten hats, like It's just not what you do. You have to be in alignment with what it is that you want. I have to ask you, do you feel like you are mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, physically, energetically as strong as you are now because of your upbringing? I know that they say there's nothing like having a praying woman in your life.
Come on now.
And I know that Miss Mamie Brown, I know.
I always say all that I am and all that I hope to be, I owe to my mother, Mrs. Mamie Brown. And God took me out of my biological womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. Mm-hmm. I'm adopted. Mm-hmm. My birth parents I discovered last year, they're like 45 minutes from here. I was conceived in Gainesville, Georgia, but my birth mother came down to Miami to give birth to us and put us up for foster care and then adoption. And what I now sing, I used to end my speeches by saying, this has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. My birth mother's name is Dorothy Bell Rucker. She was a motivational speaker. And they have a museum for my grandmother. Her name is Beulah Rucker. So now I said, this has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy and Dorothy Bell Rucker's pride and joy. I've got two mothers and I'm not ashamed. I've got two mothers and I love them just the same. If you close your eyes, I sound just like John Legend.
You sound smooth for sure. Wow. What do you think was the biggest lesson? I have one moment that happened in my life with my mom. She wasn't even teaching. It was just experiencing my mom being the most resilient that I had ever seen her. My dad ruptured a disc in his back when I was about 10 years old. My mom was trying to make sure that we weren't homeless. She was going to school full time to get her master's in engineering, had a full-time job, all of us kids, my dad's injury, and her own life. So there's a lot of weight on her shoulders. And I think of a story of one time I accidentally saw her in the middle of the night crying over her homework by herself in the kitchen at like 2:00 in the morning. And in that moment, I slunk back to my bedroom because I couldn't imagine my mom seeing me see her being weak. Mm-hmm. But what I didn't know was that was actually one of the strongest points I had ever seen my mom at, because here she is in the middle of the night, literally sobbing over her homework. And then in a few hours, she'd have to have all of us up to go to school. And she always would smile. My mom has poise. She comes with joy. I'm sorry if I cry. But she used to sing this song where she tried to wake us up in the morning and she'd say, get out of that bed and wash your face and hands. Get into the kitchen and shake them pots and pans. Or she'd have gospel playing or something going on. And she always had incredible energy, she's just such a gem. And I've heard a lot of gems about your mom, and Mrs. Mamie Brown. I heard through your story, but do you have a story like that where it was literally this is the moment that I understand resilience, not because of what I read in a book or heard in a story, but because I experienced it with this person.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
It was a deciding point in my life. I was downtown with my mother, and I think I was probably around 4 or 5.
Mm.
And it was very hot. And so
Thank you.
I saw one water fountain, and I ran up to the water fountain and started drinking water. And my mother said, "Leslie, stop that." And she grabbed me by the shirt and neck and threw me on the ground.
Oh.
And she started hitting me with her fist with a crazed look in her eyes. And I'm saying, "Mama, it's me, Mama, it's me, it's me." And then a white policeman came over, and he was hitting a nightstick in his hand. He said, "Okay, you beat that little nigger boy enough. He's learned his lesson." And he walked away, and he looked at me, and he was laughing. And Mama hit me in the head and in my mouth and eye. And he said, "That'll learn you, that'll learn you." And my mother said, "Leslie, I'm so sorry." She said, "He was coming towards you with that nightstick. His face was red with anger. And had he hit you, he would have had to kill me. I had to do that to distract him. I'm so sorry." And I was still crying. I said, "Mama," I said, "It's okay." He said, "You hit me over here. You kissed me over there, right there." She said, "You kissing and making well." She said, "Okay." I said, "Over here, right here." And we both started laughing and crying at the same time. But she put herself in a position. She had to decide that if this man hits my son, he will have to kill me. And she said, that said to me, she's willing to die for me.
Yes.
And it taught me the value of courage. The Bible says, "Be of good courage." And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the willingness to act in spite of the fear. Does that make sense?
Oh, perfectly.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, behave.
Oh, wow. I love it. Wow, wow, wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have to ask, we're going to shift gears a little bit. I love talking about family and speaking. You spent some time in politics.
Yes.
How was that? Why was that?
That was fascinating. When I was a state legislator, I used to have voter registration drives and get people out to vote. At one time, we turned out 95% of the vote in every Black precinct in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
So when I was fired for editorializing about police brutality, which was unprecedented during that time, and the 2 white police officers who were fired, they fired me for that. And then a friend named Horace Perkins, he came to my house. He said, "Hey, I want you to sign this." And I believe God put angels in your life. He brought these petitions. He went around and got signatures for me to run for the Ohio legislature. So I signed it. But I said, "But Perkins, I don't know anything about politics." He said, "Neither do the people who run."
So true.
So I ran and I won. And I passed 14 bills my first term.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yes. But let me tell you how I got elected. Went to the radio station on Friday before Tuesday.
Yeah.
And my opponent had over $40,000. I had like $600. And so Perkins, who was a salesman at the radio station, he said, "Come in here, come in the control room. This is where you come and your ideas flow," because I used to make my own commercials. And something came to me and said, "Call your mom." Because I just couldn't come on the air and just say, "Hi, I'm Les Brown. I want to encourage you to vote for me." I just couldn't bring myself to do that. So I said, "Mama," because I always talk about my mother when I was on the air. I said, "I'm running for the state legislature and I need you to do something for me." She said, "You've been running your mouth and you got fired, didn't you?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. But Mama, I need you to say something for me." She said, "Leslie, I don't want to be in that mess. I don't know what that is." I said, "Mama, I'll give you $500. She said, "Boy, you better send it Western Union." And so I said, I don't need you to talk long.
Yeah.
Just say what's in your heart. Just make it 30 seconds. She said, okay, now don't forget, send me my money today. I'll come for you.
Right. I like her.
She said, hello, this is Mrs. Mamie Brown.
Uh-huh.
When I raised my boys, I raised them to be good boys. When they got out of hand, I beat their behinds. Please vote for my son. He's a good boy. And I won. Usually you get 3,000 votes in a state representative race. I got over 26,000 votes. People were coming to the polls that I wasn't even in their district saying, Les Brown's mama said he was a good boy. I want to vote for him. Many people would not come out of the poll because they couldn't see my name. They had to call the police on it. Yeah. But it was just that if you have a heart-centered message, I tell speakers, don't let what you want to say get in the way of what your audience needs to hear.
Oh.
Find out about them.
Yes.
What is it that they're looking for? Because when you speak to an audience, someone one-on-one, small group, or large group, they're asking 3 questions. Who are you? What do you have? And can I trust you? Okay. Because people don't buy from you, they buy into you. And so, pardon me, so I train speakers how to speak from the heart and expand the vision of the audience to get out of their history to step into their imagination. The imagination is where everything takes place. He said the scripture, I will give you all your eyes can see. And so when I was in the legislature, I was a fierce debater. And that's how I got a lot of bills passed.
How did you become such a great orator? Like, you are the way that you connect all of the dots in such a simple, easy, concise way is really mind-blowing, to be honest.
Thank you.
How did you become?
I studied Malcolm X. By any means necessary, Dr. King.
Yes.
Malcolm X was a communicator. Dr. King was an orator.
Yes.
The best speakers make the fewest words go the farthest.
Yes, they do both.
And so I studied them because they mastered their craft. And Howard Thurman, who was a mentor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Billy Graham, I watched and I studied all of them. And I think I'm a combination of all of them. And you take some material that you believe in, that comes out of your heart, and you own it. You speak from that place of power.
Yes.
That you help people to discover their power voice and inspire them to do something different with their lives.
Wow. Wow. That's so true. Malcolm X is definitely straight into the point.
Great communicator.
Yes.
And Dr. King, I have a dream.
Yes.
That's another
Tell
level.
a story.
Yes.
And you enroll people into that story.
Yes. So when you see me speak in the Georgia Dome, though now I'm speaking as an orator, that speech I gave, it's not over till you win. Before 80,000 people.
Wow.
But when you see me speak in a short form, Matt, now that's the Malcolm in me.
Yes.
Or in an interview like you talking to me right now.
Yes.
I'm ready for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mama beat the X out of me. Because I came home after I heard Malcolm X. And my sister, she ran and met me. She said, Leslie, you got to change your last name back to Brown. I said, my name is Leslie X. She said, Mama's going to beat the hell out of you. And so next day I went to school, I was Leslie Brown.
I know that's right.
Yeah, she beat that X out of me.